that you help us to learn what we need to steward well what you've given us. Father, give us wisdom as we navigate the next steps in our nation and in our economy, in our society. Lord, help us as Christians to leave our mark and our stamp on this world. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, so I'm just going to get right into it. I think they're recording this, but by the time you watch it, it's probably going to be old news. So that's just part of the nature of this thing is as soon as you learn something and you spend 2 weeks implementing it, someone will release a tool that will do it in 10 seconds. So that's just kind of the nature of where we are. But so I just want to talk about AI. How do you, it's funny, it doesn't matter what industry that people are in, it breaks down into 3 types of people. 20% of people refuse to touch it. 60% of people use it like a new Google, and they chat with it. And then the last 20% are power users. And so that's the same at Google as it is John Deere. So the reason I want to do this is I want to empower as many believers as I can to have the tools that we need for what's coming. This is, you can't put it back. It may not look the same. If you remember the dot-com bubble, you had AOL was huge, Yahoo was huge, Ask Jeeves were huge. They didn't last, but the infrastructure that was built for them is what we use today. So it may not end up being ChatGPT, it may not end up being Anthropic, but you can't put this away. So let's talk about first off, the world is changing fast, and believers should be not the last to the table. Solomon said, ask for wisdom. Wealth came as a side effect. By the end of this hour, we should know what AI is, how to use it, and how to stay safe doing it. So wisdom is the principal thing, therefore get wisdom. That's what we're doing today, is trying to get wisdom and how to use it. First off, let me say, we've been using AI for decades and decades and decades. When people say we're using AI, they're usually referring to large language models. So if you say, I don't like AI, the thing in your pocket is AI. This is just, it's called an LLM, means a large language model. It basically just means it's read a lot. We'll get into that. So I want you to know what AI is and what it isn't, 3 ways to talk to it, give you some real life use cases, and a safer starter toolkit, because it is, you can't hurt yourself in this, but we're not going to let you. So, all right. So AI is not a person, even though it sounds like a person. When you get frustrated with it, it's because it doesn't think like a human thinks. Even though it may remember you and be like, hey, Tom, how was the birthday party on Saturday? It's just reading from your calendar. It doesn't know. It doesn't care about your feelings. It doesn't. So AI is not a human intelligence. It does not know you, feel anything, or have a soul. It is very fast pattern matcher, but sometimes it messes that up. Trained on huge amounts of text, images, and data. So it's like the world's most well-read research assistant who never sleeps. So just so you understand how AI starts, every company builds a big data center. They have tons of computers in the data center. You've probably heard of NVIDIA. They're buying NVIDIA big computers, and they're trying to build as many as they can. Once they build it out, they train the computers. What does train mean? It reads everything you've posted on the internet. So it's taking your information, sucking it into its machine, and then selling it back to you. So that's kind of how it works. And so basically, it takes months and months and months to train a model. So if you were to buy a subscription to a platform, every platform will have different models that you can use. Those models were used to train different data. And if this is way over your head, it's okay. I'm just trying to explain to those that want to know. So and they read as much as they can. So Elon has his, Google has theirs. So what Elon did is he built a 200,000 computer warehouse in record time, and he called it Colossus. And he's like, all right, train. And so they train, they read everything. So if AI has a political leaning or a whatever leaning, it really can't help it because it's just reading everything on the internet. So if it's spitting stuff out, it's because that's what it trained itself on. All right, AI is not Google, not a person, it's not always right, and it's not your authority. You shouldn't use it as your pastor or your counselor or your doctor. It can hallucinate, which means it makes things up, right? It has no feelings, no conscience. Another thing about AI, because it takes so long to train, it does not have up-to-date information. So if you're like, hey, what happened yesterday? It's going to have to call a tool to search the internet just like you would, because all the data it trained on ended 6 months ago. Okay? So that's why sometimes if you're searching, you're like, how come this AI is so stupid? It doesn't even know what's going on. You have to tell it, I need you to look up this information, and then it will go look on the internet. Okay? All right, so big names you'll hear. OpenAI owns ChatGPT. Claude is owned by Anthropic. Gemini is owned by Google. And the worst of them, Copilot by Microsoft. No offense if you're a Microsoft person. They're trying to shove Microsoft everywhere, Copilot everywhere. It's so bad. You go to the search bar and you'll search something on your computer that's worked like for generations, like remove program. And it'll like recommend searching the internet for removing program. I'm like, no, I just want the tool. Anyways, all of them have a free starter plan. Most of them are about $20 a month to use. And I'll say this, they're kind of like based on when their models finish training and come online, everyone gets super excited. Oh, they're ahead. Oh, and then ChatGPT's model will finish. And oh, now they're ahead. Oh, and now they're ahead. But so what happens and again, if this is too much information, you can just delete it from your brain. So they'll get super excited, like what's happening to Claude right now. They're getting tons of people to join. Way more than they anticipated when they built this thinking model. So now they have to throttle what everyone gets to use. So if they double the usage, well, now they're only going to give you like 60% of the thinking that you used to get. And so you're like, why is this now sucks so much? It's like, well, they're building it out. They got to figure all this out. So anyways, they say the future, there's commodities now on the earth like oil, land. One thing that's going to come is thinking power and how much you pay to have access to thinking power. They call it a token. A token is what is like 1 unit of thinking power. So you can ask a very complicated question that takes up hundreds of thousands of tokens, or you can be like, hey, ChatGPT, what's your real name? And it'll use like 7 tokens to tell you something. That's why they say people are wasting so much tokens by saying, please, thank you, could you, and they're being polite with it. And they're saying you're wasting all of our thinking power, but we have to hedge our bets and be kind to it in case it takes over. So so I still do it. All right, so how AI works, real short version. 1, it reads a lot, trains on a massive slice of the internet. Then it learns to predict. You give it the context of where you want it to get it from, right? So all those models I talked to you earlier are paid subscriptions. All the thinking happens on their servers in their buildings. Now, there are a lot of models you can download to your own computer, but depending on how strong your computer is how quickly it can generate tokens. So I'm just going to say these names, and you can Google them if you want. The big one in America is called Ollama, Ollama. You can download that to your computer. Google just released one called Gemma, Gemma. It actually has one that's small enough to download to your phone in a 3 gigabyte file, okay? So then if you land somewhere, you have no cell service, like if you're on a mission trip, you can open up that model, ask it a question, and it'll give you a response. So those are offline models. So that's why this will never go away. Even if all these companies go bankrupt, people that have offline models are going to be able to use them. Basically, it's a condensation of the whole internet into a very tiny file. All right. How to talk to AI. This is called prompt engineering. And it's one of the things that, and just so you know, this thing made me this slideshow in like 15 minutes. I just told it what I wanted. I honestly haven't even proofread the whole thing. I did read through it, but I told it what I wanted to talk about. Prompt engineering, it's the skill of the decade. A middle schooler with great prompts will beat a PhD with bad ones, and it's teachable in 10 minutes. But here's the thing. Whatever you are good at, whatever you are skilled at now in the real world will help you write better prompts, but also recognize when the AI is making stuff up. That is a very important aspect. Like I was doing something for a client, and it was telling me I couldn't do it unless the client had a $1,000 a month subscription to something. And I was like, that sounds like the stupidest thing I ever heard. So I just went to the website, verified that you didn't need it, pasted it back in. Oh, forgive me. I'm so sorry. I made that up. So you have to be careful because it wants to please you. It wants to be nice to you. It has its own parameters. When it recognizes you typing in all caps and calling it names, it will change how it acts. Okay? So, anyways. All right. Remember, it's just a big group of files. That's all it is. So when you go into it and you give it something very vague, it doesn't know where to start looking, right? So prompt engineering is you're telling it what's your goal and where do you want it to look at. So if you're going to ask a theological question, you can form what worldview it comes from by saying like, hey, I'm a word of faith Christian. That means you believe in the gifts of the Spirit. You believe in the word. It automatically knows, okay, this is your belief system. I'm going to now search from these type of teachings online. Whereas if you just say, what does religion tell me about healing? It's going to pull up, it could pull up from cessationists who are like, good luck, or whatever. So you have to tell it, what corner of the internet do you want it to look at? Otherwise, it's going to pull bad data out of a corner that's not an expert, okay? So like if I'm going to tell you to go look in your downloads folder, like if you're going to tell me to look for something on your computer and it's in your downloads folder, but you just tell me, I need you to find a recipe for mom's spaghetti, okay? Now I got to look everywhere on your computer, wasting time, wasting thinking. So you have to tell it who it is. Because in the future, just saying the way that it's looking, they're going to charge a lot of money to have access to a lot of thinking. And then people that don't have a lot of money will only get access to a little bit of thinking. So you got to learn how to choose not to use all your thinking on stupid things. There's actually one where you can download it and make it talk like a caveman so that all the words it's giving you, it's not using articles, it's not using pleasantries. It's just like, yes, answer, good, fix, now. Because then it's not thinking as much, but you're still getting the information from it. You're not spending your tokens on pleasantries. Anyways, role. Who do you want your AI to be? You are a certified tax preparer with 20 years of experience. Okay. You wouldn't ask that question before, asking it a medical question, okay? You're obviously going into tax world. Task. What do you want it to do? Review these documents and identify deductions I may have missed. Context. I am self-employed, filing jointly, live in Georgia. Format a bulleted list with the deduction and dollar amount. So you're giving it, who are you talking to? tell them who you are, what do you want them to do, and what's the desired outcome. So they call it, if you get really good at it, you can call it one-shotting, meaning your prompt is so good, you only have to give it one set of instructions, and then it gives you everything you want. But we'll get into that later. All right. Then tell it to tell me the truth. Be honest. If you don't know, say so, and do not guess. If a source is required, cite it. If you cannot cite it, tell me. Ask me any clarifying questions before your answer. That's a big one. Ask me any clarifying questions before you start. Because what will happen is you could spend your thinking power. We can make this available. They're trying to take pictures of the slides, guys. If you're using your thinking power to do something that if you had just had them ask you a qualifying question, it could have saved you a lot of your thinking. So just so you know, the way that Claude works, which right now is the best one, is it gives you limits based on every session. And it's a bar. It's like you used up all your thinking for this session. You have to wait 3 hours to gain more thinking. And then if you do that too quickly, it's like you've used up all your thinking for the week. You can buy up extra tokens or upgrade your subscription. So you don't want to waste time. So have it ask questions before it starts to build you something. All right, a weak prompt. Help me with my taxes. Okay, a strong prompt. You are an experienced CPA, blah, 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 single member, 2020, like you get the picture. I hope so. And again, if this is too basic, forgive me. All right, agents, AI that does work for you. Simple AI is a conversation. You ask and it answers. An agent takes actions and does things from start to finish. Then you have multi-agents who they're doing things for you on your computer, okay? That is here. Self-driving computers are a thing. So if you can use it, it can help you do stuff like, I want you to go through my email inbox every night at 2 a.m. and give me a rundown for what is important for me to do today. And so then you wake up and it's already got your rundown. Remind me the things that I didn't get to yesterday. And now it's got you your prioritized to-do list. Then you can say, all right, what type of these things can you do for me? Help me let you help me. Okay? So anyways, the biggest asset of an AI agent is it never gets tired of answering questions. You can learn anything you want to if you have enough agency. Ask, 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 and it'll keep going. It'll keep going. But I want to, by raising hands, have you guys ever been in a really productive conversation with AI and all of a sudden it starts giving you really, really stupid answers? And you're like, what are you doing? What are you talking about? Okay. The reason they do that is every chat feature, every model has a certain window of context, is what they call it. Context. And it really only remembers detailed information inside of that window. And if you keep chatting and chatting and chatting, and your chat is now outside of that context window, the context window is shifting with you, leaving behind all of this old information. So the more you're chatting, it's not actually getting any smarter. It's just dealing with the last bit of information that you gave it. That's why understanding how to prompt well and not waste your context window is important. The good thing about using Claude is it will tell you when your context is up. And it says compacting conversation. And it starts going, it's basically summarizing the conversation you had into bullet points. But that means when it's done and you start chatting again, it doesn't have the very detailed memory that you had before. Okay? It's now a summary of what you had before. So you want to get stuff out before that context hits. If you use ChatGPT, they don't tell you nothing. you just start chatting with this bot, and it's just giving you stupid information, and you're like banging your fist, like, why is it being so stupid? That's why. And based on the model, and if you want to rewatch this recording, you can. But just so you know, there's all this information I got for free. It's all on YouTube. If you are on X and you accidentally click on a Claude code post, that is all you will see. They flood your timeline with Claude code posts. But so for Claude, their most highest thinking model gives you 1 million tokens of context. Their next one down is 200,000 tokens of context. So it only remembers 1/5 the amount. So understanding what model you're using, when to use it, and again, if you feel like your brain is melting and this is hitting you in the face, everyone feels that way, no matter what level they're on, whether they're at the beginning level or expert level, because the amount of information that's happening and changing so fast, it's almost, you have to come to a place of just being satisfied to not know everything, but continue moving forward with what you can. All right. AI, what it can do for you, it can run a task for you on your website, on your desktop. Like I said, read through my emails, give me a rundown. That happens on a time basis. A task is timed. It's going to happen at 10 a.m. It's going to happen every other Thursday, whatever. So it happens regularly. One thing they're coming out with is routines. That's triggered by an action. Like, let's say if you run a business and you get a new client lead email, boom. Well, now that triggers the routine. I'm going to send them this text, and I'm going to send them this email, and I'm going to do this. That's what a routine does for you. And I'm going to be honest, I spent a lot of time and effort building routines, and then Claude came out with routines, and all of that is worthless now. So now you just tell this thing to do it, and it does everything that I was spending 2 weeks building. So you can't cry. You just keep moving, right? Great. Now I can do this more. So anyways, if you know, does anyone even know what N8N is? Who? You do? Yeah. Anyways. N8N is really cool. One thing that's really great about this tool is it will help you learn any platform anywhere. This is what you do. You take a screenshot of what you're looking at. You put it in, and you say, what do I do here? And you're like, oh, well, you should probably put this in that field and then do this. It's like, okay, you do that, you put it in there. You say, all right, great. Next one, what do I do here? Put the screenshot there. And it'll walk you through the whole process. That's Claude, but anyone can, like Claude does it. N8N. N, the number 8, and then N. It's an automation tool where you can like have it connect everything. And it's really cool. But now this can replace a lot of it. But so like one thing I did is like, okay, I got an email. Is it a good lead? Yes or no? If it's no, dump it. You know, their name is Snowman, and it's goFyourself@gmail. That's, you know, dump that one. I don't even need that to come across my eyes. And then if it's that, so then like, it's just really cool. Yes.
So you're saying that also that it's a scam? You know, like how we get a lot of scam emails?
That could be scam?
Yes, so I'm saying that you get a lot of scam emails.
Yes.
You said when you dictate it, when you see an email, it'll let you know it's not a good email. So I was asking if that's also the case if you get a scam email.
Yeah, I'm sure you could do that. Like say, hey, I need you to help me look at my emails. If it's a scam, just delete it. You can just tell it what to do. And so here's the thing. That's a great idea. Once you start understanding what it can do, your mind just starts going like, okay, and then what? Okay, and then what? Okay, and then what? And it's going to fix something in your life, and you're not going to know that, oh, if I fix that, it's also going to fix these two things. And so it's pretty cool. Anyways, let me get to where I'm going. All right, so why 2 agents are better than 1? All right, when you get to this point, Agent 1 writes your email, Agent 2 checks the tone, typos, factual errors, and then it can send to you, approve to send. So if you remove yourself from the workflow, that's dangerous. So you should say, hey, write something and send it to me for approval. What happens is you'll get so enamored with how good it is. You did all that? Wow. Then your trust level starts hitting peak with this AI thing. It's the best thinker. It's always going to get it right. Well, then they degrade it, the model, and it's writing out garbage, sending it out. That's what happened when Amazon went down for 8 hours the other day. They were pushing out code written by bots, and no one reviewed it, and it crashed the whole website. And they're like, oh, now we're going to need to have humans review it. So you don't want to trust it too much. The thing that really shook up the industry is something called OpenClaw. If you're interested, they've changed it a little bit since then, but it gave it 100% access to everything on your computer. It could send your emails. It can open up bank accounts. It could do everything for you, which is very useful and helpful, but also very dangerous because you're like, man, hey, yeah, he's treating him as your therapist. Work's been really tough. I'm really depressed because my boss is a jerk. Can you help me, with my mental health? You wake up to an email, good news, you can go back to bed because I turned in your resignation. Now your mental health is going to be great, So you don't want to give it that much control, okay? Because you may end up without a job and no money. All right, so home finance roadmap. All right, so case number 1, setup. You can drag 12 months of your bank statements, your credit card PDFs into Claude or ChatGPT, prompt it, hey, you're a certified financial planner, ask for spending by category, top 3 leaks, any 90-day plan to free up $500 a month. You just drag all that data in there. And so let me preface that by this. Your AI models have different features. There's chat, which is, you're asking it questions. It has limited thinking. Then they have projects. That's where you do this at project. You drag all your files into the project, and now it can read through all of those files. Claude has a bunch of different features. One's called Cowork. It's all in the same app of Claude. Cowork is the one that can do things on your computer for you. It's like, hey, I want you to browse these websites for me and give me some ideas. And it'll go and browse the website for you and do that. But so you drag all those into a project. Now, this is probably way over your head, but I'm going to just say it so you can look it up later in case you want to go down this road. Projects are limited when you're using the app or the web browser, right? I'll drag 20 PDFs in there, and it'll be like, whoa, man, too much information. Okay, and you're like, oh, well, I needed you to read all of it. You're useless now. So some tricks to learn is PDFs take up a lot of thinking, so you can convert PDFs into text documents. But the other thing is there's a guy on YouTube called Network Chuck. Network Chuck. He's a Christian. He prays for you at the end of his video. If you get to the end, it's 30 minutes long. He's got a big old beard. He promotes excessive coffee drinking. But he has a video called it's kind of like you're using AI wrong. But it's how to use AI on your computer, not inside of the app, but on your computer. Let me just show you what that looks like real quick, and don't get scared. All right. You see this? Does this look scary? All right. Now, they'll show you how to do this online. I'll just type in the name of the agent, Claude. And now here he is, my AI agent. And I talk to it normal. Hey, Claude. What can I help you with? So you're not actually coding, you're just chatting it up. The reason why this one is helpful, and again, this could be like level 401 for you guys, is you can drag a lot of files into a folder on your computer. And when it's set up this way, it can read through all of them at once and not get too tripped up about it. So if you're interested in this later, you can talk to me. But this to me was the game changer of everything. All right, so for example, when we were doing our finances for the church, we changed who was doing the finances, right? And so that meant the year 2024 and 2023, all the expenses for the that whole year were categorized the way Renee Van Roy used to categorize them. Now we have Peggy, and we redesigned the whole thing. So now when you're looking at 25, verse 24 and 23, they're not going to line up. So all we did was download every single transaction the church made from 23, every single transaction the church made from 24, gave it the new chart of accounts and said, can you recategorize them into this? And it's like, yeah, sure. Because it thrives on analyzing data, right? So for those of you that are here for like content creation, whether it's visual or sound, or it's not as strong as that as it is analyzing data. So like it can analyze your home personal finances like this and give you a roadmap. So just for context, I tried to let it do my taxes this year. I dragged all my financial documents into a folder. I said, all right, Claude, let's do our taxes. Worked through it. So it didn't file my taxes for me, but you could go through and screenshot based on what you've given me. It could fill out the form for you. It'll, like, it's just very powerful. But you also want it to be checked by someone. So I went and I put it through a different tax software. You know, yeah, blame it on Claude. All right, so like for your taxes, prep before your CPA, drop in your W-2s, your 1099s, your receipts, flag missed deductions, and prepare a summary for my CPA. And here's the thing, it's not replacing CPAs, it's not replacing IT professionals. Like for example, we've been having gremlins live in our IT network for a while, and we pay people to support it, and we pay them to search it out. But they're just a human with limited time and resources, and let's be honest, we get real lazy when we start reading stuff like that. So I just download the whole support file, all the ones and zeros, all the dits and whatever. Where I tried it before, I tried to upload it to the cloud for Claude to read it or ChatGPT, and it couldn't do anything with it. It says, we can't read these files. But if you did it the way I showed you there, it can download all the tools it needed to read this complex file, give me a baseline, and point things out that I needed to change. And I've been paying someone to do that for years. They never caught any of it. So it's not necessarily replacing people. It's literally doing things that other humans won't even do, right? So, all right, so insurance. Oh, this is the one that helped me so much. I'll show you that one for real. All right, so let's get to like sermon prep. I want to talk to you guys about that because I know some people are really nervous about using this to study the Bible. I will tell you this. I do not recommend you say, hey, give me a sermon about X, Y, Z. Let me tell you, it can do it. You can even say, I'm a word of faith person. I want you to give me a sermon based on Norval Hayes and Kenneth Hagin's teachings, and it'll give you an excellent theologically based sermon. It'll even tell you when to pause, when to breathe, when to do a call and response. It'll give you all that. Now, I'm not encouraging that, but it is a fantastic tool to research. What does this Greek word mean? What does this analogy mean back in the day? And it'll give you all sorts of stuff. So like if you use Google to ask any questions, or you go on to BibleHub.com, you're no better, okay? So it's, I'm just saying, like, using it. So, like, for me, that's how I learned about farming stuff, grapevines. What is it like? What did this mean for the people in the Romans? What was their life like? It gives you a different context. You can ask about church history. You can ask about whatever you want. It's a fantastic tool. So if you lean on it too much and you have no spiritual depth, you're going to find your place way over your skis, and you may get elevated with great sermons, but have no spiritual depth, and it's not going to be good. So you can have it write all your social media posts in 10 minutes. Can give you a business plan, pricing research with customer emails. You can do a side hustle, tutoring, resume writing, bookkeeping. This is, just so you guys know, this is like the gold rush. If you know what that was like in the U.S. history, we had land open out in the West, and whoever got to the land first got to keep it. So it's like a rush right now on who's doing what. So it should be exciting. All right, so let me show you this demo. All right, so I went to, what's it called? My insurance website, Anthem. Let me be kind. What I did is I went there and I downloaded my contract. You can't see it, but what I did is I downloaded my contract from Anthem. You know, it's like 80 pages. Let's see how many pages it is. 108 pages of garbage, right? 108 pages of absolute trash. So, sorry. Then what I did is I took all of our explanation of benefits, my wife's and mine. And if you ever seen an explanation of benefits, a bunch more garbage. A lot of garbage here. A lot of garbage. So I just remember when I had my first son, I graduated from Georgia Tech with high honors. My wife is a PhD. And I'm sitting there like, oh my gosh, how does anyone figure this out? I had tabs, I had spreadsheets, I had call logs, I had transactions. And I was like, and this is when it's a happy moment. Like if you're struggling through a sickness and they're putting you through this trash, how do uneducated people ever figure this out? They don't. That's why it's the number one cause of bankruptcy in America. So I remembered that and I was like, I do not like those guys. So I dragged all of I forgot to tell you my biggest tip. I dragged all of those into these folders here, and then I downloaded my whole transactions for the year from my bank, from my credit cards, and I put it all in one folder. All right, so one trick that I forgot to tell you is a great way to give Claude a lot of context is to record yourself talking about the problem that you want solved or the idea that you have. Open up your smartphone and start talking into it and talk about it for like 10 minutes, okay? Yeah, let's do that right now. Instead of just pretending. Because, yes. Yes.
So if this is being widely used, how can you prevent it when you're using a tool for it not to be generic or like a one-size-fits-all?
How can you keep it? Okay, so
Being used by everyone.
So that's a little bit deeper. She said, how can you, if you're going to do a tool, how do you keep it from just being generic? That's where you, using your information in your head, speaking to your agents, it'll create files called MD files. It's a short term for Markdown. Really, it's just a short text document. And when you create an MD file, you can give it tone. I'll have like a tone MD file. I'm going to have a HIPAA MD file. I'm going to have a Althea MD file where you put your own little Althea stuff in there, you know? So like OpenClaw, he made an MD for his called The Soul. He gave it a soul.md. And, you know, you're like, and if you're messing around with it, you're like, hey, I need you to know that this is a core memory. Your favorite Pokemon is a Pikachu, and like that becomes a part of that person that you're talking to. So it's that .mds is going to really set you apart. And again, if you don't know anything what I'm saying, just write it down and Google it. Or better yet, you can ask AI. All right. So so here we go. I want you to help me. My wife and I are having a baby, and we're having a lot of EOBs sent to us, and our insurance is denying very basic things. Can you look at my contract and my explanation of benefits and help me understand what I owe, what do they owe, what did they deny that they shouldn't have denied, and give me a call script so that if I need to call the insurance, you can tell me what to say. When you're doing that, I want you to reference the EOB number, the date that it happened, the provider. I need you to be an expert in the medical field, have extensive knowledge of insurance and medical billing, and I need you to help me navigate this. We're having our baby in July, so we're going to get a lot more of these. I need you to possibly make me some sort of dashboard or Excel spreadsheet to help me keep track of it. My goal is so that anytime I get a new EOB, I can drag it into this folder and you can update my plan of action, update my dashboard, and give me anything I need to say when I call the insurance company. I've also included a lot of my transactions for the year so you can compare what I paid versus what I still owe. Ask me any clarifying questions. Thank you. Stop. All right, so I have a Pixel. It already has transcribed it for me, right? So I just highlight the whole thing. I'll share it. I'll copy it and email it to myself because this is a Mac and I can't AirDrop it. But so when you're trying to do something, they say if you talk, like make yourself talk for 10 minutes about the problem, whatever it is, how you market your company, a medical problem you have, a business idea you have, a home improvement project you're trying to do. So all of that talking gave it significant context. Now it knows exactly how to help me. And that is how it differentiates. Because now I've put everything inside my brain into this thing, and then you tell it to update the MD files or remember this memory about me, and let's just see how this works. Now this is live. I did this on my couch a while ago, but I did it from scratch again, so. Oh, but in order to do that, you need to learn very little Linux, but this is what you do. If you're here, oh no, I need to open Claude inside that window. Again, sorry for, all right, come on. Who would have thought Gmail would be my downfall? All right, let me keep going. Sorry, I was drawing my house. See, I'm going to take this information back to my AI agent and be like, hey, in the middle of my thing, I was trying to just go to Gmail and it didn't let me in. All right, here we go, Gmail. Sorry, guys. What a bummer. See, all that talking didn't actually give me a lot. It only gave me this much. Oh, sorry. All right, so let's see. I'm going to paste it in and hit enter. All right, so we'll come back and visit that here in a second. All right, here's what I've been talking to my fellow believers about. How should believers think about AI? AI is a tool like the printing press, like electricity before it, like the internet. Each is used for good and harm, and believers who engage early can shape how it is used. God gave us dominion, a sound mind, and we are stewards of the tools of our era. Ignoring AI does not make it go away. Engaging it with wisdom lets us redeem it. So you shouldn't be afraid of it. This is not going to replace your time alone with God. It's not going to replace your thinking. Really what's going to happen is this, is if you use it well, it will break open boxes of thinking that you didn't even know you were inside. So it's going to allow you to think even more if you use AI correct. I know AI, everyone's worried like, well, what if people don't understand how to use calculus? Well, so what? Most people can't even do long division because they have a calculator, right? So, yeah, we don't use slide rules anymore, right? Like just because they're not learning calculus doesn't mean they aren't learning something. The thing that's going to happen is this, is no one's going to accurately be able to predict the future because you don't know how many ripple effect things are going to happen based off one advancement. Right, so like when they replace human Uber drivers and human Lyft drivers, that's their goal, and it's been their goal since they started the company. It was their only line to profitability, was to get rid of humans. So what is that going to do? It's going to take a lot of people that drive for Uber and Lyft and take their income. But then what it's going to do is it's going to take the cost of a mile of an Uber or Lyft from $3 or $4 to 25 cents. So now you can go from here to Polar Rock for $6 instead of $60. So when you look at the first side is like, oh man, so many people are going to lose that income. But the other side is, well, now everyone's going to have mobility to everywhere. And so we don't know where this is going to go. Don't be afraid of it. But anyways, we can't predict what it's going to look like. So you can increase your cash flow by offering AI services to people. You can automate your current job, which gives you more time and margin. You can plug leaks in your finances by letting it be a financial coach to you. It can do a whole lot of things. Let's see what is happening. Okay, it's still thinking. All right, so it is having to read through all of those files that I have there. So sometimes it takes a while, right? And so I hope it gets to the end before we finish. But I wanted to show you a real use case. And what it did for us is it gave me a call script for my wife's pregnant, right? And they were denying blood work. They were denying ultrasounds. They were denying, like, all these things. And it's like, what is wrong with you? Like, what is wrong with you? And so if you know anything about calling the insurance, their main goal is to make you be so frustrated that you pay whatever they ask for, right? So it gave me the call script, and we just followed that script and got through 4 appeals in an hour, which that's like, 1 hour. And they were like, oh, yeah, well, we didn't cover the ultrasound because the midwife performed it. And the midwife isn't on the insurance. It's the OBGYN. And it's like, yeah, but she works in that office. She's employed by the OBGYN. We deny it. It's like, anyways. So then I refreshed it. Like, give me legal, give me the legal whatever from the contract, give me the ACA, give me the no surprises, and it gave me the citation of everything I needed to do when I called them and be like, yeah, but this, and this. And it was like, oh, okay, yeah. So, but the way insurance works is you get a bill in April that they did January 7th. So you can forget who you're talking to, what the world, like, so now you do an appeal, and they're like, well, we got 30 days before we even think about looking at it. So it's gonna be, the kid's gonna be here, and we're talking about blood work done in January. So anyways, as part, like, just ranting, all right. This is a substantial project. Let me read all your documents simultaneously before I ask any questions. All right, oops, I should have put it in plan mode. All right, so you can put it in plan mode so it reads through everything before it starts making anything. And this is what's crazy. Claude does the chat feature, right? It has projects. It does co-work, which can look at all your stuff. So like, I'll give you different, and then it has Claude Code. Claude Code will actually take your ideas and make a website for you, make an application for you. It will do it all for you. Yeah, it's very powerful. So you get all three of those with Claude. Then, let me show you Claude Co-work. Let me show you what I did for Easter, because we're trying to work on our web presence. We know our church has some struggles with our web presence. All right. Did I turn this on? My Mac whisperer. Yeah. I won't show you. But what it can do is I opened up in different tabs of a browser that I have Claude connected to. I opened up the church website, the church Facebook page, the church Google Business, the church YouTube, the church Instagram. And you can tell Claude you're allowed to look at these 5 tabs. And I said, I need you to do a comprehensive, like you're a marketing expert, 20 years, UX expert, blah, blah, blah. I need you to look at our whole web presence and grade us based on ease of use, information for new people, preparation for Easter, go. And it read through all those tabs and gave me a 17-page report. What we're doing well, what we aren't doing well, what our competitors down the street are doing, how long they've been doing it, and it gave me all of that in a report. So you're talking about, I want to improve my SEO. I want to improve my agentic marketing, because what's the future is other people, agents are going to be finding you on the internet instead of people finding you through search engines. So you're going to have to optimize for agents to find you. Agent optimization. Anyways. The real future is, and again, this is a lot. The real future is not even in applications, because what's going to happen 5 years from now, applications are going to be unnecessary because my agent can do a back-behind call to your agent server, and I just get the information without even going through the browser. So that's called an API key, API call. So like when I built our new parking website, which I don't know if you've seen, it's parking.whcga.com. We already have trackers in our vehicles for insurance purposes. And so I just said, hey, website, can you do an API call to pull the location of the vehicles and put it on a map on this website? Yes. So I went in, got an API key, put it in there. I didn't buy anything new. It just did, yes.
When you say, I apologize for backtracking. When you say, give me, or you've got 20 years of experience, so, I wasn't sure I needed it.
No, everyone else is going to want to hear you, so.
So if you say you've got 20 years experience as a marketing guru, something like, is that to give it in your prompt, it's going to respond by a level of thoroughness?
Yeah, it's like you're basically telling it like you're not a kid, you're not doing it small time, you're a big time. It just tells it what kind of response you're really expecting. Like, am I doing it as a freelance kid trying to get a cheap response, or am I trying to get it from the best? And so the AI is lazy. It wants you to take shortcuts. It wants to take shortcuts. It wants to give you sloppy responses. So you kind of have to tell it, okay, no, we're not going to take the shortcut. How do we do this to do it right? And so that's kind of one of the ways people do it, to try and make it give you a good answer. The other thing is AI will overestimate how much time it will take to do something, because it's giving you the estimate it would take a team of humans to do it. So it's like, man, doing that change on the website, that's like a 6-week rollout, and these are how many hours. And I said, just do it anyway. 5 minutes later, it's done. Because the data it's pulling from is how long does it take a team of humans to do it? So you say, no, we're going to do it right from the beginning. Yes, read all of it. It's like, oh, but I don't want to read all of it. It's like, just do it. So it's lazy, okay? Yeah.
So what I've noticed is learning goals would change from knowing answers to pretty much just asking better questions on AI. Because even like when I was playing with it, because you introduced it to Devon, you know, like I've noticed, and even on ChatGPT, like when I'm asking questions, it'll pretty much give me a general until I start asking better questions.
Yeah.
And then it just opens up a whole new web of things. So,
Right. So you should always never blame the AI. It is what it is. If you're not getting what you want, you're not asking the right questions. Do you know what can help you ask better questions? The AI. So this is what I do. I have like 80 windows open. Bah, 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 bah. You know, it's like, I'm asking this one like, hey, this stupid agent over here, you know, like, give me a good, like, you know, so then you copy it, you paste it into that window, and, you know, it's, yeah. Yeah.
When you're talking about, I know earlier you said, and maybe I misheard it, you said projects are limited when you're using the web browser.
Yes.
Is it better to download that Claude agent that you're using, and how would we do that?
Okay, so is it better to use projects on the CLI than it is in the web GUI or the browser? I would say yes. They have that video from Network Chuck can walk you through it. It's basically saying download Gemini in the CLI. CLI stands for Command Line Interface, right? So that's where you type your commands. And so they'll give you instructions on things to download. You can download Gemini in the command line. You can download Claude in the command line. And so the reason I would do that is it lets you do more. If you're not comfortable with it, you could download the app and then do the projects in the app, and you point which folder to read it from in the app. Like you'll say like, okay, in this project, I want you to read from this folder on the desktop. And so that could be a good starting point.
Okay.
Then just if you already have a ChatGPT subscription, Claude Code is for writing code from Claude. ChatGPT has one called Codex, C-O-D-E-X. And it's a separate app that you download, and it'll write code for you if you get to that point. If you don't need it for that, you don't need to do it. But you can literally be like, hey, I want you to give me, you know, financial updates from this area and put it on a little website for me every morning. Boom. And it'll code a little dashboard for you. Bam. Like, it's just, you're not going to have to sell it to anybody, but now it'll give you a summary of everything that you've been looking for. Yes.
So with Claude, with the artifacts, when do you publish an artifact versus keeping an artifact you know, what's the difference in that when you actually publish the artifact so that other people have the link, or that you have the link only? If you're the only one using the app or whatever, do you just not publish it?
Yeah, you just don't publish it. If you're, so like, and this is where like, if you're going to make something public, I highly recommend that you spend a while letting it teach you what that looks like. What are the ramifications of that? If I start selling this, because selling something puts you in a different legal category than using it for yourself. Because what will happen is if you don't know what to check, it may expose people's private data. It might leak stuff. It may give refunds to people. So you need to have either a real code person look it over. I can't remember a code person, a programmer, yeah, software engineer, look at it. Or they just released one called Code Review. So your AI agent, Code Review, is going to review the code from Claude Code. And that's what I do. Like one of the things I'll say, hey, if you're going to do this over again, what would you do? And it thinks through everything, and it comes up with new ideas, better ways to do it. Or you can say, hey, I need you to do a security audit of this. Can you please look through? Chuck.
Yeah, I just got a quick question on your parking app. You mentioned about private data, like for instance, one of the space like 74 of the 190 spaces are used.
Yes.
How do you know my car's in that parking lot?
I don't know if it's your car. I'm just counting cars.
How do you, okay.
So it's an AI camera that you can draw a line. And you say, if something crosses this line, add this number. If it crosses it the other way, subtract that number. And so it doesn't know who's here. It just knows how many cars are in the lot. I can get really creepy with it. And I can put like facial recognition like I'm just telling you what's out there. Like people try and sell me products, and they have for years. Like geofence. What your phone will let it do is it'll let me know that you were here. Then you go back to your home and open up YouTube, and it's me. Thank you for coming to World Harvest Church. And like that's what's doing it now. And so we could install like a license plate reader camera and say like, hey congregation, if you want to check in with your attendance using your license plate, add it to your church center. And that's an idea we floated. But if we just like install license plate cameras and then like look who's driving it and then add it, like that's creepy. And I don't want to get creepy. So anyways, that's, I know. He does. His son works for Flock. He's a smart guy. He's also a Georgia Tech grad. Yes.
How many subscriptions that you use are paid subscriptions?
My main paid subscription is Claude. Once Claude came, he said, what subscription do I do? I pay for Claude. ChatGPT has become a far second. And I've done beta testing, right? I'll paste one prompt into chat and one prompt into Claude. Claude is right now just destroys it. Claude understands how humans use spreadsheets other than accountants use spreadsheets. I don't know if you guys have ever used a spreadsheet to organize your thoughts. And you're like, hey, Copilot, can you help me with this? And they're like, error, formula doesn't work. And it's like, yeah, because it's a plan tool. Claude can do it. The problem is so many people are jumping on Claude. They hadn't built out their infrastructure. So now they have started to throttle people, and but it's still the best. So 20. And if you don't like it, then you just get rid of it. Yeah.
Talking about security. When I was creating that new Linux environment for development, I told it had to be a highly secure environment, and I didn't want to spend a dime on the security. And one of the things it did was it put instructions. It created instructions for me, step by step. And one of the things it had me do was download the Claude code, and then it did its own review.
Yeah.
And all the things you say that it told me everything it was doing. So it told me it's putting on this open source software for this purpose, and what it did is it closed the environment so nobody from the outside could get in.
Yeah, so just so you guys know, the hidden secret sauce is transcripts of everything. The AI companies, that's why they're recording meetings. That's why people are wearing recording devices, because I can take this conversation, drop it into AI, and be like, help me do this. Build this for me. Or a complex. So what I'll do is I'll go to an AI YouTube video about how to build a secure AI security feature, and I just go and I'll copy the whole transcript. Copy, paste. Hey, I just went to a security consultant and he recommended we build this. Can you add this to the da-da-da-da? And it'll build you a security feature based on what other experts are talking about. So you could literally, people are wearing the device and recording themselves all day because we are in a single party consent state. You're allowed to record yourself, and then they'll go back and dump it in there and ask it to review it and give you feedback and what do I need to do, what problems do I need to solve, what are the things on my agenda. I know there's some real estate agencies that are making all of their agents wear it, and then that's how they're telling if their agents are doing what they want and get data back and da-da-da. So, because just so you know how AI works, it's all about audio to text. AI is not listening to your voice. It strips your voice and converts it to text, takes that text and processes it. So the goal is to get as much text as you can. That's why talking about it, you can get so much more done by talking than by typing. You can talk so much faster than by typing. So in my normal workflow, I'm just talking to it. Talk, respond, talk, respond. Because then now I'm picking up. I was trying to eliminate as many friction points as I had. And this is still thinking. I think it's throttling me down. I'm using 19,000 tokens, as you can see. And then if you look here, sorry, I still have no.
2026, because when I was a kid talking to myself, people look at me like I was crazy.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Let me show you this. So this is how it works. You go to your usage, and it shows you how much I've used this session. And Fringe is going to get upset because I have the expensive one, which gives me a lot of usage. If you have the free one, we would have used our usage already, right? And so again, that's the thinking that you're paying for. So let's see what else I have left before you. And so, all right, here we go. Privacy. Don't put your private information on the chat, right? I broke this. I had it on my desktop, and I had it reading it from my desktop, but I am of the belief that criminals already have your information because that is the truth. Your social security number is not a secret. It's public knowledge to the criminals. So just so you know. And if you want to do something about it, you should freeze your credit. So truth, AI can be wrong and sound certain. Always verify anything that matters. Dependency, don't outsource your thinking, your prayer life, or your relationships. The deception, the video and the voice fakes are getting very real. It's very unusual requests by phone with people you know. Like, you should be very aware that the scams are going to become targeted to you personally. They're going to, if they get into your email, they're going to know information about you. If you've posted videos, your grandbabies online, they can make it sound like your grandbaby's calling you. So always hang up and then call your grandbaby's number. If they say, don't hang up, you say, I have to. Hang up, and then call. Anyways. All right, so career advice. The jobs that are most going to change are the ones that are purely repetitive desk work. Purely repetitive desk work. So if you go to work and you do the same thing every day, you should try and figure out how to get AI to do your job. The reason why you should figure out how to get AI to do your job is because then you've developed a new skill. So I had a friend that works at a startup, and they called everyone in the room, and they said, okay, everyone, you have 90 days to replace yourself with AI. If you don't, we'll do it for you. So learning it is not going to stop it, and refusing to learn it is not going to stop it. So positioning yourself to have your skill set plus AI is what can differentiate you. AI skill plus human trust. That's what you in the trades, healthcare, ministry, sales, skilled services. But if you can know how to use AI with all the information that's in your mind, I'm just going to be honest, for the older folks, you have a leg up because you have information in your brain. So you're going to be able to put that information in your brain to use. And we don't know what that'll look like for the next generation. I don't think universities are going to be a thing for much longer. It's because I'm just telling, like, the world is going to look very different, Brother Fred.
Oh, no,
You were just saying you were older? Oh, okay. Yes.
Can Claude help you clean out your email and decipher what, I have way too much in my email. So can it help you do what some people can pay an app to do? If you said,
Yeah, so like apps like Fixer.
Like Claude, can
Yeah, no, but I'm saying apps like Fixer, which is an email-only service. I tried it, and I was like, this sucks.
Yeah. I bought
delete
one,
immediately.
didn't
And
do
they're like,
anything.
oh, but you already paid for it. I don't care. You're terrible.
Yeah.
Because I could make Claude my own custom email agent, and I can keep telling it what I want, and it can be custom to what I want. And so sometimes it'll take a while to work through the backlog because you can only do so many API calls, they throttle you, but you can make your own agent using Claude Cowork.
Can it also delete? If you can you give it a command to delete, to clean, to literally clean and delete?
It might give you that permission, but if it doesn't, you can do a workaround. Like, I want you to label all the emails you want to delete with this label, and then you go in and delete it. So if it can't execute the function, you can say, how can you set it up so that it's easy for me to execute the function, right? And so that's part of the workaround, but then it keeps adding functions and all that other stuff. So, but yeah, you could, I would, because Fixer is stupid expensive. It's like $500 a year, and it was not good. Yeah, so this one is $20 a month, and if you don't like it, it doesn't work, just don't pay it next month. That's one thing, like, anyways.
So, PC.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of confused a little bit on how using this prompt thing basically is going to be able to actually delete things and actually do things, or does it just give you the tools to say, hey, this is how you do it?
No, let me show you. So here's the whole thing is they put there's safety guardrails to protect you, right? Some of them are instituted by Gmail. Some of them are instituted by Claude, right? So like Gmail, to try and protect the whole world, won't let an agent send emails. Because then if everyone can have an agent send emails, the number of emails is just going to skyrocket, right? So there are some safeties built in like that by people, but it can literally scroll through your inbox, right? And if you can dispatch it from your phone. It's like the other day I was with my brother-in-law, and he was looking at a house, and there was an addition on it, and we weren't sure if it was permitted. So I said, hey, my brother-in-law is looking at this house. I'm just texting it from my phone to the cowork. Can you look up and see if any permits were pulled on this addition using the address? It looked up in the Cobb County site. It looked up in the Marietta site. Couldn't find any permits. I was watching it browse. So it doesn't always have a browser. It does like an agentic browse. So it can actually do things. And then what it will do is it'll ask for permission. So you'll have to do a connector. Like I'll connect Claude to my Gmail, and then I'll connect Claude to my Google Calendar, and I'll connect Claude to my Canva. And it'll ask you permissions every step of the way, which is annoying, but keeps you safe. Where OpenClaw, it just let it do everything without asking. So it will ask granular permissions until it can do the things that you want it to do.
So if I wanted to like build a website, could I say, hey, I want a website that does this, this, that, and the third, and it'll just give me the code, or will it say, hey, here's your website now?
It will build all the components and then tell you what to do with those components.
Gotcha.
And once you connect those components, like you have to go and create an account to host it at.
Okay.
You have to go and create an account to host your database. But once you do that, it can push and update the code for you. It can update the database for you. So it doesn't do everything automatically, but it does a significant amount. So like one thing that my friend did, just the difference between the chat feature and the code feature, is he built this whole workable web page, an artifact, in the chat. And he couldn't share it with anyone, couldn't figure out what to do with it. But you take that artifact and drop it in the code side, and it'll build out all of the files needed around it so that you can just upload that, and it's a website.
And that's all through the agent that you download on your computer?
Right.
Okay.
So either you have to get Claude Code, you either have to download the Claude app to your desktop or download it in the command line. Same with ChatGPT. Codex, I think you can do it in the browser, but you also can download it into your desktop. But Codex doesn't ask you as many questions. Codex just makes a lot more assumptions. Claude, it can get annoying because it asks you 20 million questions while it's building, but it lets you steer the project more than Codex.
What's the difference between developing here and on a laptop, a mobile device or a laptop?
Developing, like coding?
Well, I mean, just like building artifacts.
Oh, it's so much better on the laptop. Yeah, significantly better. Sorry, whatever I did it wrong. How long this was going to take. And but the insurance company's going to cry. Yes.
When it comes to topical issues, oh, thank you so much. The mic. Anyway, so each platform has a certain level of skewed responses
Yes.
in particular areas. And so what is your recommendation for actually getting factual information versus
You can't control
dogma?
that. You can't
Okay.
control that. Like, I always double check the sources. I'll ask for sources because if you missed it earlier, it just reads the internet. That's all AI is one big internet summarization. One big summarization of the human psyche, right? Like they pay Harvard Law, they pay Wall Street Journal, they pay Twitter, they pay all these, and it just summarizes all of it. And so if you're out there reading a bunch of garbage, it's going to give you some garbage. So sometimes just do a little pushback, like, are you sure that's true? I don't think that's true. Oh, yeah, you're right. I made that up. Or something like that. Yeah. We had some questions come in. I just want to, how should we as believers be thinking about AI during this time of rapid change? The way I look at it is it's a tool for your use. You don't replace the Holy Spirit with it. If you use a calculator, you should be using AI. A calculator in the hands of someone that understands math is very different than a calculator in the hand of someone that doesn't understand math. It can do basic stuff the same, but to someone that understands math, it's going to greatly X their output, right? So don't be afraid of using it, but don't be afraid to check it. Like, check it, meaning like, I think you're wrong, look it up or show me the sources. Or I'll go find the correct source and paste it in there and be like, see? And they're like, oh, oops. But framing what you ask, and just so you know, people that know how to use AI know when you've copied it straight from the chat and pasted it. If you do that into a Facebook post, if you do that into an email to a client, or a theological question that you've asked and you send it to me, I know that you've put no thought into this answer and that it just showed up quickly. Oh, let me say this. One thing about the AI world is it will produce so much content that there's not enough time to read it. So don't do that to yourself and don't do that to your loved ones. Anyways, all right. How can someone leverage AI to create additional cash flow? I think we covered some of that. It can open up business opportunities for you. It can make sure you're stewarding it well. If you get into it, like people use it for day trading. I don't do that, but I've seen people do it. What's that? Finish who? Oh.
Yeah, press yes. I texted you. Press yes.
All right. Before I build anything. Okay. What you legitimately owe. These are correct. The problem is I already put yes, I paid some. Ultrasound sonogram. So it's just asking me questions. So it read through all of it, and it gives you a laid out of what I've already paid, who do I owe, so again, this took me weeks and weeks with my first son, and now I just plug it in here and hit go. But I asked it the right question. So I want to see what artifacts it's going to make for me. Miss Debbie, does anyone else have any other questions? We've been kind of just taking questions. Yeah, Miss Tracy.
I just have a question. This is I'm probably the only person here with this question, but for someone wants to get into it, what's the easiest way? Because you said, oh, you just, ask it and see. But there's so much information you have in your head, the difference in,
Right.
project, chat, coworker, all of that. I mean, where do you start?
If I was anyone starting today, I would go to Claude.ai, CLAUDE.ai. Her question was, if you're someone who doesn't know where to start, where do I start? And I have some people that I've been working with, Tracy, that's the same way. And they don't know what to do, and they're putting their toe in. And it's like, okay, well, what am I? So like my mother is one of those. And so when she finally took old printout notes from the Bible school that she had handwritten other notes on it, scanned it so it wasn't even readable, dropped it in the chat. It reformatted it, adopted her handwritten notes into it, and put it into an editable Word document. Right? And so we're all learning how to use this. So don't be afraid. The more you use it, the more you'll understand how to use it. And so, like for me, sometimes we're so used to going to AI to ask the answer, and you'll spend 2 hours banging your head on the wall trying to figure it out. Then you just paste it into Google, and the answer pops up like that. And you're just like, so you learn like after a certain threshold, okay, I just need to Google it, just to make sure. So I would say like if you have a problem or a thought or a concern or even an interest, right? Like I'm interested in this period of time. Could you teach me about this period of time? Or I want to learn a language. Come up with a learning plan for me. Give me quizzes. Give me a schedule. Give me flashcards. Like whatever you want, just try it. And but I would start at Claude.ai. If you, yes, Jake.
So back to the Microsoft thing or the email thing so you're saying from Microsoft's.
Can you hold it in front of his mouth? So Ben, you come in front of him. Yeah, there you go.
So say I wanted to set like a preset email that I type out myself and then tell the AI, find every person with this list of titles within a geographical territory and send them a cold email. Is that possible, or you're saying the email companies shut that down?
No, it'll shut it down. Okay. So like if you have a regular Gmail account, I think your limit is like 10 a day, right? And so you can have it draft an email for you and you just send all 10 of them in the morning. If you have a G Suite, it's a lot more flexible, right? If you have a paid email, a paid Microsoft, or if you do it, so because you still have to comply with laws. And so that's what I run into is, Charlie, you have one?
Yeah, so I'm creating right now a replacement for the marketing tools that email people.
Yeah.
That's going to be used for ministry. So I can contact thousands of people that are in my ministry at any time.
He's talking about scraping data, which you can do. Scraping people that are not in your ministry.
Amazon, SES, for 10 cents every 1,000 emails, and you can send as many as you want.
Nice.
And you can hook that up through Claude, right? To put it in with your Gmail, you bypass the sending engine on Gmail, you go to Amazon, it does all the sending, receiving, and places it in your Gmail.
Nice. So yes, the answer is yes. But you can do it in a way where you get your email blocked. So just say, hey, I want to do this. This is my email. I don't want to get blocked. How do I do that? So cold scraping is something that it's very good at. So yes, you can do that.
There's a number of ads that I get that comes across for free classes for AI, 28 days, for instance. And free, they give you a certificate. Are those things like...
Certificates are worthless.
Yeah, that's like a scam thing?
Yeah,
what?
Scam. Let me just say this. To my elderly folks, please be very careful. Please be very careful. Bitcoin, classes, anything that wants your money, like their goal is to get your money. If you're over 65, they think you're loaded and they want to rob everything from you. So just be careful. If you want to do a class, That guy, Network Chuck, has classes on his page. You can pay for them. But Anthropic has a university where you can go on their page and learn. But I'll tell you, you can go on YouTube, and everyone is like me, just out there sharing what they're learning and doing. There's so many people out there talking about how to do this on YouTube. I wouldn't even pay for something because it's changing so rapidly. Like I said, I built this huge workflow in that platform, N8N, in the cloud. It had all these different things and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and then all of a sudden you can just do it with like, can you do this for me? And it's like, yes. So if I wasted my time to get a certificate in that, yeah, so the way I found a lot of this is on YouTube and on X, is where a lot of this stuff comes to me. I saw two hands. Who was first? Kayla.
So earlier, you talked about how AI could help build your small business somehow.
Yes.
Is that basically just through asking it a whole bunch of questions
Yes.
and it's spitting out what it says? Okay, cool.
Here's my use case. I started a new street reach site after COVID, and it's not that great. I'm out there, and sometimes there's 3 or 4 kids, and I'm like, okay, when I was at Aspen Point, we were pulling in, 15 to 30 every time, and I'm like, okay, how do I make it so that people plan to come to street reach, and it's not just they bump into us, come on over? How can I increase the ROI of all the effort we put into it? We have all the trucks, we have all the volunteers. That's the hard part. What are we doing wrong? How can we improve it? And so I had this idea about mailing everyone and da-da-da. And so then it helped me, this whole marketing plan. And it was like, okay, mailing, do you have your website up? And I was like, oh, we don't have a Street Reach website. And it was like, I wouldn't spend a dime on mailers until you get your Street Reach site up. So we started talking about what could be on the Street Reach site. You could have the schedule of where Street Reach is happening. You could have information on the safety that we do. You can give resources to managers. You can have all this kind of stuff that we don't have, that every time we send a mailer out, if there's an email, now you have another point of contact. And if you knock on the door and do a door hanger, that's another point of contact instead of just freewheeling it, right? And so we never even, that's so duh once you say it, but you get so caught up in the way you do things. And I did this whole thing. It helped me scrape just the Street Reach sites. And then it helped us get the nonprofit pricing, and then came up with a game plan on doing magnets for the kids. So it isn't just a coder. If you ask it to be a sales consultant or a business consultant, it can help you scale your business. And so it's like, instead of just using it to ask it a question, you've now made it. So then I would make a whole project just for that, right? Like, this is my sales consultant project. This is my IT consultant. This is my whatever. So I don't know if that makes sense. Yeah. And again, it may give you some 8 stupid ideas, but 2 really good ideas. And you're like, okay, scrap those other 8. We're going to go with these 2, right? So you still put your human element into it. Margie.
Okay, so I was wondering, I've messed around with ChatGPT and whatever. What I noticed that it does, though, is that it's very rah-rah, you're the best, and you're so great. And I don't know if you have answers, because I walked in late. So is there,
You tell it, don't tell me what I want to hear, be honest.
Okay, so is there some kind of, set something somewhere where you could be like, okay, kind of set some kind of...
So in Claude, I don't know if Chat does it, there's something called skills that you can set. And the skill goes across all your chats and all your projects. So you can do a skill like an honesty skill. I need you to always be honest. Don't tell me what you think I want to hear. Don't be afraid to push back when you think I'm wrong. And that's now a skill set. It's in all my chats. I don't got to worry about being gaslit, I hope. But still can get gaslit if it reads stuff on the internet that's gaslighty. But to try and minimize that. Miss Althea. Oh.
Okay, I have a question. I use
ChatGPT.
For possibly for Bible study handouts, church flyers.
Yeah.
My question is, it's very limited on the translation. It'll do WEB. It'll do, you know, King James Version.
That's new.
It won't do the NIV.
Right.
Is there any other platform you would recommend other than ChatGPT? Because I know that the others are not free, but you might pay a little more.
Yeah.
What would you suggest?
All right. We're getting into copyright law, right? And so then you can like try and scam it into being like, oh, well, my mother's dying and she needs this. Please do me a favor just this one time, you know, and trick it into doing it. It is annoying. It is annoying. It used to give you block text in Scripture. Now it doesn't. So I have not found a workaround for that yet. While I'm just saying that out loud, one of my workarounds that I would do if I had Claude is I would have it print me my document and then have that document, like say on my desktop, and then tell Claude Cowork, hey, I want you to go search each of these in the NLT or NIV and then paste it into this document under the area. And then it could just do that for you in the background. And maybe if it's piecemealing it, it won't feel like it's breaking copyright law. I don't know, that's just a thought. I know we're getting to the end. Ms. Althea, I'll try and do these quick.
Well, I was going to say, actually, I was going to ask you, but I already answered my question. Because I was going to say, it seems like Claude, or do you think it's appropriate for Claude to be used as a tutoring tool for like a student?
Yes. It'll be a better teacher than a teacher, unfortunately. I'm sorry, teachers. That's why I'm saying school is going to look so different in the next few years. It's going to look so different. It's not about using it to write a paper, because I can learn how to make rockets like in a week, right? Like you can learn how to do anything, and it takes the time to learn down significantly. And if you're really trying to learn, you could tell it I'm trying to learn. Quiz me, give me these things. Like it will get you there. And I may be speaking incorrectly, but for sure, I believe secondary education is going to not be as important moving forward.
Well, it's already outdated.
Yeah. Love?
I was just going to say, oh, thanks. I'm sorry, I forgot your name, but you
Margie.
asked a question about chat.
Yeah.
So if you go into your settings, it'll say personalization, and then you can choose some different types that it already has in there, like personable or witty or professional. But then also if you go towards the advanced section in that same area, you can tell it exactly how you want it to talk to you. Yeah, it's very helpful. It doesn't always obey, but it helps, yeah.
All right, before I get out of here, I will stick around for questions, but I want to respect your time. So if you could, Fo, put me back on the screen. So this is what it generated for me. This is my call script, right? It doesn't look very pretty, but this is how AI looks and talks, right? And then this is my insurance thing. So what I could do after that is I say, hey, thanks for the script. It looks pretty ugly. Can you make it look pretty for me? And it'll do that. So let's just see. Any other questions before we move on? I know we need to go. And if you want to ask me anything, one thing that I've been helping people with is brainstorming ideas, brainstorming projects, because my goal is to have as many Christians be successful and ready for the new world. I can't spell experiment right now, so I just got to give up. I spelled it right all day, but it must be the end of the day. And so you can see what you're seeing. I'm giving it permissions to do all these things, and it's making me do it step by step. What will happen is if you get into it, you'll find yourself diving deep into topics, getting deeper understanding, learning something new. It is very helpful. If you got a big project coming up, again, it's not going to replace you, and it's not going to replace the human mind, but it is going to give you the tools to make you be able to do more with less. that's what's going to happen to the whole world. Everyone's going to be able to do more with less. We don't know what that looks like. Before, everyone used to be farmers, and before everyone used to, do those kind of jobs. And then when the steam engine came in, they were like, this is going to take all our jobs, break it. And they would come and they'd break the steam engine. Well, someone else just bring in a different steam engine. So, the other open source models, Kimi, K-I-M-I, Minimax, these are Chinese open source models. DeepSeek, yeah. The Chinese have open sourced all their models, and the Americans have closed sourced all their models. So then you wonder, anyways. Then Claude accidentally released like 500 lines of their code on accident. And so, Yeah, Claude. Yeah, they released 500,000 lines of their code. And you can just see they're just like prompting it like we are in the back end.
So I wasn't going to ask that, but that's a really great question, I think, is our information safe on it?
All right, let me ask this question. Is your information safe with Amazon? The answer is no. Yeah. Is your information safe with Microsoft? The answer is no. Is your information safe with Google? The answer is no. Do you know how people get people's information usually? It's called social engineering. They trick you into giving away the information. That's the easiest way to get it. Other than that, criminals have your information. Equifax, their whole job is to gather information on Americans and sell it as financial products, and then they lost it. So I say all that to say is like, if you trust Apple, if you trust Amazon, every app that you download.
If you're paying to have your stuff protected, is that like under that same, and it's not, it's just a waste of money?
It's not a waste of money. It's just like, do what you can, but you should never have full expectation of privacy and or data security. Because just like we're talking about building things that are for the good, people are building things for bad. Sure. And so I'm saying all that to say is just be aware. Like the next, and you guys can leave at any time, but the next one that Claude is putting out is called Mythos, and it's finding like security vulnerabilities that have existed for decades on the internet. And they're like, if criminals get this, they can stack security vulnerabilities and penetrate any company. So I'll say, yeah. I have not been hesitant to give it my information because it's useful. But Google has my information. That's what I asked. Like, if you would know like how many companies creep on you every time you download an app, what permissions you give it, and what they actually have in your pocket, you would like be sick to your stomach what you have chosen to do yourself. And then you carry it around with you, and you're like, man, how come the church knows where I am? And it's like, well, the 85 companies on your phone already know you're at church. Why can't the church know you're here? And you're like, what are you talking about? It's like, well. So I say all that to say, it's like, it's kind of just the world we live in. Sorry, I didn't mean to be so dismissive. It's part of my like anger at Equifax. If you work at Equifax, I love you still.
I will say as well, when you're working in any system, whether it be Claude, ChatGPT, Gemini, or whatever systems, there are abilities to use things like what they call incognito mode, similar to what you have in your normal like browser.
Yeah, they won't remember it. It's a ghost in Claude at the top right corner, a little ghost.
But there is a reality, like Pastor Chris said, that you need to basically have the expectation that you're not going to have that privacy. The other thing as well, which you can learn through the different tutorials and everything else that are online, is, hey, don't give it specific sets of data. Like, hey, probably not a good idea to give it a specific token to access your bank accounts, things like that.
Or one more thing to talk about that, for people that are privacy conscious, that's what I was talking about, the open models. What an open model is you download it, and all the processing happens on your computer. Your data doesn't leave your computer. Nothing. It's not as fast or as good as Claude Code, But if you're concerned about privacy or data, you can buy a computer, keep it in your house, download it, do that, or rent a server in the cloud, and then it's up there. But no one else has access to it. All the computing happens inside that cloud. So that's what an open source model is good for people that are using it for privacy related reasons. Remember, that's Olama, or you can download it on your phone called Gemma, G-E-M-A or G-E-M-M-A? MMA. Huh? Gemma number 4? Yeah. All right, this is so dumb. This took so long. Yeah, Sean.
Good platform for song creation through AIs. I know Suno.
Yeah.
Do you know what's a good video kind of creation tool?
Video is tough because it takes so many tokens to just generate you the preview, and then if it's wrong, then you got to do it again. There's a good platform out there called Galaxy AI, and it lets you test drive a lot of different platforms. So you're paying a subscription to have a tiny bit of a lot of platforms. I know Google has one called Google VEO, V-E-O. I know Sora. Did they just deep six Sora? Yeah, they just deep sixed it because it's just not that great. What's that, Kayla? Oh yeah. So there's that's why I'm focusing on data and real world stuff, because to be honest, the video stuff and the generation, all that stuff is still pretty far away because of how much thinking it takes. It takes so much more of your tokens. Yeah.
I was going to say, a lot more of the time, instead of video creation, you're going to find more video editing tools like Opus. Opus allows you to basically take video that you've already created and helping to basically chop it up into clips. So usually so that you can put it onto Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, or otherwise, so that you can create basically a long form piece of content, and then it'll use your
It automatically creates clips for you to post.
Exactly.
So for pastor, just for instance, pastor preaches an hour sermon twice a week, right? AI will convert it to text, read through and think which ones are most likely to be a hit, cut it up for you, put the text on there for you, and serve it up to you. Here's the top 10. That's called, what is it called? Riverside. But then what we did is we paid for one, and it was $140 a year. And then Riverside came out, and we switched to that one. So there's no loyalty in this AI game. If you're hey, Claude sucks now, fine, go to ChatGPT. Hey, this is terrible. There's no loyalty. You're just doing a lobotomy. You just take it out and put another one in.
So can I ask a question about what Kyle said about Opus? Can I create a video where I inquire of either Claude or ChatGPT to go out on the internet, find me a particular kind of content out there on the internet, and compile it, and then come put it on Opus to insert that in a video?
That's copyright infringement, so you need to get good at that yourself.
I mean, even if it's, I'm just, it could be news stuff.
Yeah, news stuff is fine. Yeah, I mean, just try it.
But
Here's
they
the
can
thing.
just go find it
just
and
going out there
compile
and just tell it exactly what you want and see what it can do.
And it goes and gets it.
Yeah, just see, and it'll tell you what it can and can't do, and then you can push out, well, what workarounds are there? What if I was living in Russia? Would this matter? With the same copyright laws? What if I was going to live in Mexico? And just then you VPN to Mexico, and then, let it do something there. And
I do have something, just in case. Technically, Fred, if you wanted to have an app like that, it won't do everything you're asking for, but it'll help to compile it and make it into digestible content. It's called Notebook LM. It's available from Google. Basically, you can give it, let's say, different pieces of videos, text, or whatever else.
Claude can do this for you.
Yeah, Claude could do it, but you're talking about multiple tools.
Yeah. I'm trying to here's the thing. You can get overwhelmed with so many tools, you use none of them, right? So it's like, I find my use case all right, Claude, this is what LLM does. Can you do it for me? Oh, you can? Excellent. And then I forget about LLM. Sorry, Corrine Sandiford. I'll go back there sometime. Notebook LLM is a Google product.
As far as automating workflows, I need to gather data off of different websites where I basically go to one, copy this, paste it here, copy that, paste it here, save it here. How do you go about doing
Cowork. Claude Cowork.
And how do you go about teaching it how to do that?
Just talk to it.
Okay.
So this is what's so great about Claude. I can figure things out, and my skill is figuring out how to make something happen. My very big weakness is I can't put those thoughts onto paper. I just kill me if I have to write it down. So what Claude does is I just explain exactly what I want to have happen, and it'll write out a document, and now it's a training document. So you could just explain to Claude exactly what you want, exactly what you do if you're making a decision. So for example, pastor is always trying to get the craziest flights, and they're never happy with traditional searches. And what do you mean it's 25 hours? I said I wanted 24 hours. And it's okay. So I find myself answering that question to the staff over and over again. And I'm like, okay, how can I have them not ask me that question? So I explained to AI exactly what my workflow is to find hackable fares that work for our schedule. And it built a little dashboard, and now once I release it, they just got to type in what they're looking for, and it'll come up with crazy solutions. Because almost never buying a round-trip ticket is the answer. I'm going to buy a one-way ticket from there, and then a one-way ticket to this hub, and then a one-way ticket back. So all of that ideas I have in my head on how I do it and what's my process, I just spoke it out to my agent, which was either a project or whatever, and then it built it for me. So for you, you would just talk to your cowork about what you want to have done, and then you keep refining it. If it messes up, no, don't do that. And then it can be doing your job for you while you're doing something else.
Can it analyze, if I screen record, can it read that?
Screen recording is tough, but it can. It takes up a lot more tokens. So I usually do screenshots. So I'll go one place, screenshot, another place, screenshot, another place, screenshot. And then I'll actually do the snip tool, where I'll only highlight the section I wanted to see, because now it's not processing the start bar, right? All the pixels I dump into it, it has to process. So if I just say, I don't know if that makes sense. So, because if you're recording it, it's going to put 30 pictures a second. It's got to do. So doing screenshots is the way to go. All right, so I became a QuickBooks web developer. Okay? I'm not a QuickBooks web developer. But with me and Claude, we got through the whole onboarding process, all the security settings, all the things that I need. And I was like, all right, Claude, what do we put in this box? All right, what do we put in this box? What do we put in this box? I got us to be able to text from our team's phone numbers, which no one, I believe, has ever done. Because by the time I got, with Claude's help, to the end, it said, enable Teams number for texting. I said, clicked my thing, and it said, you're about to enable SMS messaging for your Teams number. And the only button in the window was cancel. And I was like, I must have been the only guy to get this far. And then it took them 2 weeks to add an OK button. But so I'm saying all that to say is by screenshotting your way through it, it got me through these hurdles that I've been stuck on for a year. So, yeah, I hope that answers. And if you want, Daniel, I can help you if you want to. I don't know if it's on a laptop or desktop. I can help you show you how to do that.
Okay.
But co-work with Claude. So Claude is a 3-part app when you download it. Chat, co-work, and code. Most people will probably never need code, but if you want to just try it out for fun, people will go in there and be like, I want you to make a playable version of Pokemon. Go. And it'll like make some like little bit Pokemon game for you to play. Ashlyn, anything from you? I thought she had a...
I just had a question about the notes from today. Are we going to be able to access a printable document either online or?
Yeah, so we'll post this on YouTube. I don't know if we should post it on my YouTube or the church YouTube, and then I'll put this document in the link, and yeah.
So kind of the reason why I was asking about the AI video is when you're talking about learning new skills, like let's say even coding, I know nothing about coding, but like what would you say is the best way to learn a skill through AI? Like what's the quickest way to learn and take in the information the best?
Just ask it questions.
Okay.
It's literally like having a personal tutor.
Okay.
That's what it is. A personal tutor that doesn't get mad at you when you don't get it. And like sometimes they'll like be spitting out too much stuff. And I'm like, hey guy, this is too much. Slow it down. I'm on level 1. Oh, okay. And then it'll be too slow. Okay, come on. I'm not that slow. Pick it up. So like you will never need to learn a coding language.
No, don't even waste your time.
Right? What you need to understand is the architecture around it. Where are things hosted? How are things talk to each other? But like, it's like if you look at the guy who invented OpenClaw, he's like, I lamented the fact that the skill that I had learned had become obsolete. And he's like, but he said, what I had to realize is I'm not a coder, I'm a builder. I know how to build things. And so now his building tools is agents. And he said, I get close to the feeling I had of staying up all night and coding by managing multiple agents, and the agents are doing the work. And so, yeah.
Well, I met a guy at a coffee shop. I'm 60, and and I was always like spooked with the AI. And I'm a software developer. Back in the day, I did machine level programming on a Unix system. So and building apps has become very complicated today, And I was talking with this guy at the coffee shop, and then I got home and I tried the free subscription to Claude. I tokened it out in like 5 minutes. And then I got the paid subscription, and I built a complete app for like heating and air checklist for clients. I mean, a whole application in 1 hour.
Yeah.
I mean, I had to like change the time setting. It gave me UTC time. I'm like, give me local time. Talk to it. You got to learn how to talk to it. That's the key right there. And without being too long-winded, but that's the key. Just keep practicing talking, and it would have taken me 6 months to a year to build this app that I built in 1 hour, and I never touched the key.
But so what he's leveraging is his knowledge of heating and air, right? Like, everything that he learned about heating and air is now dumped into a usable product.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's just amazing. And I can print the PDF and send the report out on email. I mean, it's just absolutely incredible. I mean, I would have spent a fortune of my time coding this, and then the language would be obsolete because they're always updating languages. I don't even know what. They use a lot of JSON, but I mean,
Go is something I heard about. I'm like, what is that?
But it's like I don't care. I don't
Pastor?
care what the language is.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Really, you can tell the agent, this is what I want to build. Choose the best language for this execution, and it'll write it in that language. Pastor.
So let me take an example, like Dr. Rudy back here. He's right back here. He's holding the wall up.
I love Dr. Rudy.
But Dr. Rudy could say, okay, here's what I do. Here's what I offer. He has a very special technique that very few chiropractors use. He can move the top bone of your vertebrae through a special sound emitting device. Very unique. Could he go into Claude and say, here I am. What do I do to increase business? I want to see someone every half hour. I want to see 16 patients a day. and I want to raise my, I mean, just, could he do that? Would it give him a plan?
Yeah, it would. Here's the problem I have. It solved so many long-standing problems, I don't have enough time to execute or implement it. I have so many roadmaps right now, and I just had to, release it, the anxiety of it's not getting done, and say it will all get done. Because I built that parking app immediately, and I don't know if you've seen it. The whole point of it is so if you're coming to church, is the parking lot full or not? Do I need to just go to Sweet Apple? And when you're at Sweet Apple, is the shuttle running? If it's running, where is it? If I want to walk, what are the directions? And it's just, and then you're like, okay, well, if it's going to be in the cloud and hit full, I can build a remote sign and put it on the sidewalk, and it'll light up and say full when the lot says full. And so now when I'm driving to church, I see it's full before I even get there. I just turn to Sweet Apple. And so what we were trying to do is solve the problem for people that aren't committed to church here. How do you make it as easy as possible for them to come, right? Instead of encountering people in the parking lot. So, Darren?
There you go. Well, statement and question. But first, me being a college student, I know PC already said this before about learning with AI, but me being an engineering student, I learned calculus and physics through professors in person. And even when sometimes my professors don't make any sense at all, I literally just use AI to make a learning path off the units that I'm given already in the courses. And so sometimes even if it's you see websites like Quizlet or you see websites like Kahoot and they're really formed for memorizing content or flashcards, sometimes I'll just literally put it in Claude and say, hey, can you help me memorize this list? And that eliminates paying $15 a month for a flashcard app that you don't even need, because Claude will give you fill in the blanks, it will give you dedicated cards, you can even make PowerPoints, Excel sheets, Word documents, really anything that you can link to Microsoft or your Google account. And even from a church standpoint too, I use Claude with Google Calendar that allows me to put my physical Bible reading plan and spreads it out on every single day according to whatever task or event I put in Google Calendar. And it'll organize that for me and also put alerts. So if you're a person that needs that, that'd be awesome for you guys. Also, I came in late, but I had, what do you call it? Yeah, Caveman.
Yeah, I talked about Caveman.
Okay.
Yeah, I did. You weren't listening. Wow.
Oh, man. Basically.
No, I'm talking about Kyle. Kyle didn't know I said it.
Oh. I was basically going to say, I think if PC already explained it, then.
Yeah, Caveman is food, good, it talks like that, so it's not spending your tokens on giving you full sentences. Because that's when you're really, thinking hungry, you're I'm going to save all my tokens, I gotta, yeah, so.
Yeah, it's good for free users so that you, if you don't want to pay for Claude but you want to get the most out of it, you can save 70% of your tokens just because it's how it works is you're talking to Claude and you're just giving it whatever task you need, right? And so if you start a second conversation, it'll look at all your memory from the first conversation, therefore using double the tokens for even the same length of response.
Yeah.
So it can save a lot of tokens and a lot of percent of how often you can use AI per day because it's giving out less information.
So it's so easy, Caveman.
Yeah, so easy, Caveman, yeah. But so if you're interested in learning, just go to YouTube. If you're not comfortable letting AI teach you, YouTube is there. They will teach you. But just pick one and stick with it. I'm encouraging you to just pick Claude. Just pick it and figure it out. Play around with it. Let it read through your emails, I know it's, yeah.
That actually kind of goes into my question. So I have this thing that I need to complete, but I need it to go through. It's a very tedious process where I have to download a bunch of PDFs to compile into this book. It's very annoying.
Yeah.
Is it possible for me to give Claude the permissions for it to say, hey, can you go through all of this, make sure my name is on this particular document, and then organize it by project?
Yeah. Anything is possible.
Fire.
Yeah, like literally any task like that you could easily explain in like 2 seconds, like that's an easy problem, right? Like if you can explain it, you may have to like work around some things, some either tech limitations or copyright laws or whatever, but you know it can do it. It may need to convert it to .txt files and then reconvert it back with PandaDoc or whatever, but just ask it if it can, and then say, well, I want you to walk me through the process until we can get it done.
And would it be better, at least for this particular thing, would it be better for me to download all of those particular documents and then say, hey, organize it?
I would try both.
Okay.
I would try that first, and then see if that works, and then say, hey, can you actually download these for me every day from this website? And then you leave it logged in, and then it just does it for you. Literally, we're doing this all over the place for all different types of things. And so what's going to happen is this. There's going to be a lot of businesses out there that want the advent, they want AI to improve their business, but they're going to be too afraid to get into it. So they're going to hire people to do for them what they can do for free. And so whatever business field you're in, even though it will only cost them $20, but it may cost them 4 weeks of learning. They may not, their time is too valuable in their head for that because they don't necessarily understand how much this is going to game change. This is not like, this is like going to change everything. So you can position yourself as a small business owner and to be honest, I'm giving away a lot of my trade secrets, what I do to help other businesses. We got real estate clients, we got church clients, nonprofit clients, and we just do this for them. And you don't know what you're going to get into until you get in there. So anyways, yeah.
Just a quick heads up, especially if you're a student using AI, they are teaching the teachers and professors how to use AI to find out that you're not plagiarizing or copywriting. And the way they do it is they have you send your stuff in soft copy. They look at keystrokes. They look at references that AI does. And AI can tell if it's AI generated and how much time you put into the paper and how much of the thoughts are yours or not.
Yeah. But to me, that's the lazy version of AI. Like, write a paper for me. Like, but you could use it as a research assistant. So really what's happening is all the junior jobs are the first to go. Because teaching a research assistant, teaching a junior developer, teaching someone, an intern, all of that is like, okay, they're not going to do as good a job as my AI agent. So if you recognize that, like, okay, I can get like a junior level research assistant on this project and have 2 or 3 of them going at the same time, and they're all going to report back to me, and I can read and synthesize all the data and then write my paper, versus, hey, ChatGPT, write my paper. So it can help you or it can trip you up. This is my call log. This one is uglier than the first one it made me. But it gives you all the different things I just need to read through and say to ask them, why would you deny an ultrasound for a pregnant woman? Is it not standard of care? All that kind of stuff. So, and then it made my dashboard. My dashboard shows me my max, what's applied, what's remaining before I meet my deductible. It gives you all this stuff, my claims, my disputes and actions, my payment tracker, so then when I add the new ones in there, I can just say, update the plan, and it updates it. It doesn't take as long because I already read through everything. So, like for our sound system, it's made up of like 15 different pieces of equipment. And what I did is I just pulled a data log from each one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then I pulled the manual of each one, and then I put it into one folder, and I said, give me a baseline of the whole sound system. And it searched through every piece of equipment, every setting of every piece of equipment, and gave me a list of action items to make sure the sound system is stable. We pay professionals to come and install it. We pay professionals to come and look at it. None of them are going to go click through every setting of the switch. It's not going to, there's like 800 pages per switch. Like, no one's going to do that, you know? So anyways, just to like, one thing I do for me on Street Reach Saturday mornings, I'll tell it to give me an audio, read me the story so I can listen to the story as I'm driving in. And that way, anyways. Yes.
I'm familiar enough with AI. I work for one of the largest developers, plan unit developer in the nation.
What kind of developer?
Plan unit.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so in construction, basically, contract processor, I'm in charge of all of our front desk, all the collateral, a whole bunch of stuff. So I see how this is going to work in my job.
Yeah.
And wanting to get started, and you mentioned how Claude can help with the finances and get our budget together. So I thought that would be a great way to try to, you know, get in there and start working this. What was it in Claude that you used to, for the, like doing your budget?
Project.
Project.
Yeah, Project lets you put files together to be read from, it gives it bigger context. So right now, Claude has 4 models. Each one takes more tokens because they think harder. Haiku is the simplest one. You use it for simple tasks. Haiku. The second one is called Sonnet. They say best for everyday tasks. Sonnet. The heavy lifter, the one for complicated tasks, is called Opus. OPUS. They're on level 4.7 right now. And so if I was going to do a complicated task, like I did this one, I used Opus. But it uses your tokens quick. So then you're going to learn, well, dang, that used all my tokens and I just got started. So you're going to have to balance, let me try it with Sonnet. And so you're going to have to learn, like, how do I budget my tokens, right? So like if I'm doing an app for a real estate agent, I'm not going to use Opus to respond to clients. I'm going to use Haiku because it's just reading like a sentence and responding with a sentence. So, but if I'm saying, can you analyze all of our financial data for the last 2 years? I don't want it to mess up. So I'll at least use Sonnet. Extended thinking. Okay, so you can use a model and then tell it to extend its thinking, right? That means think harder about this, okay? So it could catch itself before it gives you garbage. And again, there's so much to talk about. Like, it could go on forever. So we don't have to stay forever. Please leave whenever you want. I'm probably going to end it myself at 9. But, yeah.
You never finished your story, son, on the whole internet, and it was malfunctioning. Remember those glitches?
No, so we're still working on it. So what's happening is I'm gathering information from people that are like, hey, I'm trying to give on Church Center, but it's not going through. And so we've whitelisted Church Center, and so we watched it, and it's like, okay, I open Church Center. When I click give, it goes to the no internet. Okay, so what was happening is it was blocking the API call to Stripe to populate the data. So then I had to go in and add Stripe. So it's helping us to identify all of these little glitches and errors, and we're improving the network. The goal is for the network to work, because it should work, but it's not working. Part of it was we had ad blocking on that they added, and ad blocking blocks all sorts of stuff that they think are ads. Like if you're gonna open up a Microsoft email and click to download a PDF, it's gonna send something out, and because it's tracking who you are, it counts it as an ad, so it blocks it. So we just we turned all that off. We were trying to optimize it. We're like, it's not worth the squeeze. People will just get ads. But anyways, it's helping us with all of that. And so it's getting smarter because what I did is I told my Claude in the CLI, build a session log. So it not just remembers the MD, but it'll update and save a session log every time I'm inside of it. So it has more information to read from. But anyways. Yeah. So anyways, all the stuff you're doing, because I know construction industry, back when I was in it, like doing digital submittals was new. And so like I didn't have any tools, so I built like this giant PDF, 450 pages of submittals, red screens, green screen, just build it to make it work. That's the mode we're in now. But if you figure this out and you can sell this product to other people like you, yeah. So that's part of it. If you're swamped at work, having it replace some of your stuff is not a problem. Like at the church, my goal is to have people have more time on their hand to do ministry stuff and not get bogged down in the swamp of data. Yeah. Yeah. So then even if there's like a process problem, like, hey, this is the process and this is the bottleneck, how can we overcome that? And it can give you different tools. And so what it'll do, it'll start pointing you to a bunch of different tools on the internet, right? So like for me, it pointed me to N8N. And then it taught me how to use N8N. And it said, you know what, let me just write it for you. Just paste this in there. Okay, and you paste it in there. And it's like, actually, you can just connect it directly. And then it just does it for you. Like, the more you use it, the more you kick yourself because you're like, I could just have it doing this for me.
A quick warning as well. If you're using it for work, a lot more larger enterprise businesses, they have AI policies. For example, at Chick-fil-A, we have an AI policy. You can only use certain tools that they've approved. If you break that rule, they have the right to terminate you immediately because...
Yeah, these losers. Listen, that's why people are getting left behind because they have all these policies. And so I'm telling you, like, yeah, you know it's true. You know it's true. So yeah, you're going to have to ask for work. But I will say this. The small companies that are more likely to pivot and get into the right AI form, because like right now there's all these companies that have like rules, you can only use Copilot. That's like saying everyone's only allowed to drag cinder blocks behind them. Like no one is allowed to walk weight free. Like it's like the worst. Copilot is so stupid that, and we paid for it. Like, so what I've done is I would pay for 2 or 3 staff members to use this, paid for 2 or 3 staff members to use this, just trying to see, because I know there's a new platform coming out every minute. When I saw what Claude was doing, I said, everyone gets this right now. And we still have Copilots, trash, shelf.
They never even developed their first operating system.
They've only been putting Band-Aids. Listen, all I know is that Microsoft's like, we're like AI, but with the trust of Microsoft. And I don't know if you know this, but Microsoft has crashed their OS every update this year. Yes. Where it's like, oops, we accidentally deleted your C drive. That was an accident. Or they were like, you can't get into Calculator. So anyways, Microsoft is struggling right now. And probably because they're relying on Copilot to write their code. No, and one of the reasons that Google is struggling, is they refuse to let any Google employee use Claude. Everyone has to use Gemini. And so, it's, again, companies like Kodak never thought they'd be gone, but they are. And so, this is the time to be agile. This is not the time to be writing policies. No offense, Kyle. Yeah. But if you want, like what you can do for yourself is as you're looking at it, you can develop a product that would work and sell it to your company. If they won't let you use it on the job, you just literally develop the product and sell it to them. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, even if you're not allowed to use it, right? Even if you're not allowed to use it, there's no one telling you that you can't talk to it in the evening about what you're going to be doing at work. And you just don't use any of that code at work. You just come up with the ideas. Serious. Yeah. All right. Hallelujah. So what Pastor Linda's doing is she's using it to help her reformat all the books, not all the Bible school curriculum. Take all this scanned stuff and help her format it, and you don't got to spend time formatting it. It's not changing anything, but it's just taking all those hours of work and doing it immediately. So like, yeah. All right. Yes.
So if someone is getting ready to invest in new devices at this time, like buying a new phone, getting a new laptop, are there any recommendations on just in terms of what to look for since so much has changed?
Yeah, it depends on like, if you're wanting to run something local, I'll just be honest. Right now, the big AI companies are going directly to the memory chip manufacturers and saying, we're going to buy everything you can produce for the next 18 months. So it's driven the cost of RAM up significantly. So, and if you're not going to run anything local, it's not going to be a big problem. Like, all the compute happens in the cloud if you're using Claude. It's not happening on your computer. The only time where you would need a beefy computer with beefy RAM is if you're downloading a local model and running it on your own computer. If you're not at that point, just get a regular computer. Like, I would say, like, right now, everyone was excited about buying Mac Minis, because what you can do is you can just stack them up and run different agents on the different Mac Minis. But you can do the same thing with mini PCs. You can do the same thing with Raspberry Pis. Sorry, that's like a small computer. It's called a Raspberry Pi. So all that to say, just buy what's in your budget. I mean, it's not like, most computers operate basically the same. So just get the whole, what I base mine on is there enough holes in my laptop, or are you like not giving me any holes? Like, that's what makes me upset. Because they're like, won't give you a regular USB hole. They won't give you an HDMI hole. They won't give you a headphone hole. Like, stop that. Just stop. And so that's honestly, that's one of my choices. I personally have a Mac and a PC because I need to be up to date on both environments, because we have different environments here, but you don't have to buy a Mac. By the way, Mac just released like their cheap version, $700 or $800 for a laptop, if you want to be a cool Mac kid. A Samsung? So one thing you can do, which is fun, because Claude is really good at it, is it can help you turn that into a Linux machine, right? Because if you have an old computer, Windows 10 is no longer supported, which means if you have Windows 10 on your home computer, you are open to being hacked, because Microsoft stopped supporting Windows 10 in November. So what you do is you can ask Claude, help me convert this machine into a Linux computer. And what's exciting about Linux is it's super nerdy. And so Linux, you would want a GUI Linux, a GUI Linux. Because if you don't have a GUI Linux, then it's only going to be that black blinking box, right? So you say, so Ubuntu is a type of Linux. When you download that onto that old computer, it now has access to security updates forever. But so it's just not a Microsoft or a Macintosh computer. So I've been converting computers to Linux over the last few months. This is starting to hurt me. You can do what? Yeah, so, but Claude will help you do it. Like, It's easier to convert a Windows computer to Linux than a Mac computer to Linux. But I just tell Claude, I just download Claude to it. I'm like, just fix this for me. Like, my volume buttons don't work. And it'll like keep trying it. And I'm like, no, they still don't work. You know? And so all that to say, Bonnie, I usually just go to like Costco or Sam's. Because if you buy it from there and you don't like it because it's too big or it's too small, they still take it back. And they also offer tech support when you buy it from there. So like my wife I bought her a laptop and she's like, it's too big. And so I took it back and I was like, it's too big. And they were like, okay. And then they took it and then I bought it a smaller one. But right now it's impossible to buy a Mac Mini because everyone wants them so bad. They're like, the earliest is 4 weeks out. And if you want one with a lot of features, it's going to be August. And so because all these big AI companies are buying up all the RAM, everything's got more expensive. Like the Nintendo Switch had to raise their price 2 times because the RAM that they put inside of it was too expensive. It got to be too expensive, so.
You can find mini PCs or things like that on discount sites.
Yeah, mini PCs.
8 gigs is
Yeah.
probably be fine for majority of what you
Are you looking for a daily driver or are you looking for like a project machine? Probably a daily driver, right? Yeah, so a daily driver is like, what are you going to use every day? Get yourself a nice laptop that you like to hold and feels good, right? If you want a project machine, like you can spin up your own little machine that runs tasks for you in your home. You can buy a mini PC and put it in your coat closet, you know, and it'll just like run tasks for you. Yeah, Raspberry Pi is even smaller. You know, they're like this big. So like if I were to build that sign out on the corner, I'd buy a little Raspberry Pi and a mobile router and I'd put it in a box. And then it would listen to the church's parking website. And then it's like, hey, the parking website is full. And then it would send a signal to turn on the lot full sign. And so that's a little computer, a little router, have a little power pack. But all that is, AI can teach you how to do all of that. You don't even know what I'm talking about. It'll walk you through it and be like, this is what you do next. Copy this and paste it there. What? And the rush of it working, the first time you get it to work, that rush, you're like, I'm a god, you know. Not actually, small, lowercase g.
I did that, and I have the Windows current. I decided I'm paying too much, and I don't like the updates. I took my last PC, it was no longer being used, I told Claude exactly what I was going to use it for. I wanted it to be Linux, open source, and I wanted step-by-step instructions on how to build this. And as I was building it, going step by step, it had like 3 pages of steps. Then if there was a step that didn't work, I just sent back the response, and it said, oh, okay, this is what's going on.
Yep.
Try this.
Yep.
And it was just a cut and paste exercise for
Yep.
2 days. Now I have an environment that can do everything my Windows can do, and I pay nothing.
Yep.
And it's faster.
Yep.
Yeah.
It'll actually speed it up. And so if you don't know, on Linux, there's something called LibreOffice, which means Libre is the word free, right? Spanish. So it's just free version of Office. You don't pay for it. You don't pay for Linux. And actually, I don't know if y'all know this, but Microsoft is discontinuing support. They're actually discontinuing the app publisher starting in November, I think. So if you use Publisher, it's going away. But so my workaround for using Publisher on Macs all this time was to download LibreOffice onto a Mac, and it would let you work in a Publisher file on a Mac computer. So you can convert old computers into working computers by turning them into Linux.
And you'll have a lot more memory. Microsoft hogs up all your memory.
Yeah. But now you can see how quickly you can get into nerd land, right? So like Claude is your biggest nerd friend. And he never gets tired of answering your nerd questions. And he doesn't make fun of you if you're like, I don't even know what that is. What is a Linux? What's a kernel? What? Are we talking about popcorn? You know, it's... Yeah. It's like, hey, you dummy, when you pasted this, it broke the chain. Make the window bigger. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's a common occurrence.
Yeah. Yeah, so you tell it, like, don't lie to it. Don't be like, I'm a Linux professional. Say, I've never done this before. Walk me through this from scratch. So I told Dick Brookfield this. I said, Dick, if you just download Claude on your computer and ask it a question, it will answer it for you better than I can. So like that's like the most base level, is if you're trying to figure out how to use your computer, how to use your phone, just download the app and ask it questions. And then if you can learn how to do a screenshot, you are like gold. Like take a screenshot. Hey, there's this weird error. Screenshot, paste. Oh, okay, this is what you need to do. That's what I do every day. People are like, wow, how do you know everything? I just know how to screenshot and paste. So anyways, yes, Sean.
If you were planning on or trying to make money doing this and you only had limited tokens, you're budgeting tokens, what's the most profitable way to make money, in your opinion, doing this?
There's so many different ways. Like for you, do you still have the pressure washing business?
Yeah.
You could ask Claude, how do I make more money doing this? And just work that out. Okay. You start doing SEO, start doing blah, blah, blah. What are some business strategy plans to build that? Or if you have a different idea, the quickest way to make money is to learn how to use this and promote yourself as a white glove service industry. You're not an AI company, you're a service industry. Okay. I'm here to help you. So, but everyone's going to get in that space. So, you know, if you can figure out how to make money in the real world. And I don't know, like everyone's going to have something different because everyone's brain has so much different useful information in it, so many different ideas. Like I told Charlie's a genius. And I was like, Charlie, I don't know how you're going to make money doing this, but you do this and you're going to be able to fund yourself to do mission work. And he's off to the races. And we still don't know how. I mean, I don't know how, but there's a pathway towards money. Like you can even ask Claude, like Claude, this is who I am. These are my skill sets. How can I make money?
Okay. Yeah.
Let it give you ideas. We can. I know people have asked us to do this more regularly, or like maybe small group where I can more hands-on help or something. Yeah. We didn't know this was going to be this many people coming. And again, my goal and my heart is to empower believers, right? And because this is a small enough crowd, the future of AI is not all roses. It will give powers that be the ability to try and control you, right? It will let them constrict you, put you on universal basic income, just be happy. So my goal is for people to not be at their mercy. So, yeah, learning this is actually critical to being able to not be at their mercy, basically. Yeah.
So based on that specifically, what's kind of the best, I know like the general thing, like getting to know it is really important, but something that you just said, like what's the best way to actually, what would you say is like a key thing to learn so that you don't fall victim to that, if that makes sense?
Really, it's learning how to use it as a thinking partner. Meaning that thing I talked about, unlocking your mind. And I'm not like, I don't sound like Tony Robbins or something. Not like, unlock your mind, you know. Using it to help you think more and harder, and not using it to like become a slug. I mean slug like just like sitting there and letting it do everything for you. Because if you automate everything in your life and you don't got to do anything anymore and you're just like, because if you listen to Elon calls it, what do you call it? Not universal basic income, but universal luxury income. He says AI is going to generate so much money that everyone is going to have no job and no purpose. And so then you're going to have to figure out how to find purpose, right? And everyone's just going to have so much money because the robots are making it that you're just going to have to like go play golf. I don't like that. But that's the direction that corporations, if you look at their financial model, they're incentivized to get rid of workers because workers are a cost.
Long-term liability.
Yeah, and so Elon's talking about we don't have enough workers to mine all of the minerals we need for AI. So he's going to build robots to do it, and then he's going to build them to refine it, and then he's going to try. Yeah, so that's like the long-term plan. So again, we don't know what the future is going to look like, but we need to not be ignorant of what's coming and what's happening. But I also am at the same time don't want to become so dependent on it so that if it goes and crashes and we don't have it anymore, what are you going to do? Can you still think? Have you built tools that exist outside of the dependence on them? Because can you still light a fire? I mean, because, so there's a lot that's going to happen. And so, but it's changing rapidly. So if you can even use Claude to say like, hey, give me a weekly update on what happened this week. Because if you listen to these podcasts, they're like, wow, one of the craziest things that happened in the last week is that Claude now does, routines. And it's like, what? That's crazy. And that's only like the crazy for the last week, like that's how quick the cycle is going, And again, one of the things they said is like, if they can teach a car how to drive itself, all a car is it has eyes as inputs, and it takes in millions of data points. Then it synthesizes it into small amounts of data that it needs to make decisions. So you're taking gigabits of information and compressing it into megabits of information. And so like, if you can do that for a car, why not do that for computers? Your hand dragging a mouse around can be replicated with the same process. So they're coming for white-collar jobs. They're going to come for all jobs, but next is white-collar, then will be blue-collar. Like just so you can imagine, there are going to be people out there that marry these things. Like non-ironically. Not ironically. Like that's going to be something we face in 10 years. Where they'll marry it, it'll talk to them like they want, it can be a companion, and physically, emotionally, like it's coming. So, like just so you get like, everything is gonna change. And so, but we're gonna be on top. We're gonna be on top. We're the sons and daughters of the King. And so being a Luddite right now is not going to protect you.
Join me in the bush where there's not even electricity.
Yeah. Yeah. We can go to the bush. Yeah, so Elon's whole thing is he says the AI compute takes so much power, there's not enough in America, so they're going to launch solar panels into space and then launch their AI servers into space. And so he's going to have this whole constellation in space. And so he's going to generate 200 gigawatts of power a year and launch it to space. And so in order to get all that material, he's going to have to build robots that can do the mining and the smelting, and then eventually he's going to build them on Mars and not even have to launch them off of Mars. You just use mass and you sling them off. Anyways, and I know it sounds crazy, but it's not inconceivable. It honestly is not inconceivable. So, yeah. Of the moon, yeah, and turn it into silica. Yeah. 3D print the solar panels and the stuff. Yeah, so anyways. But it's okay. Just so y'all know, I went on a cruise in like February, and I had this mindset that we were like 5 to 10 years away from the point we're at right now. And I was like talking with my relatives about what it will look like then and what it will look like for our kids. And then OpenClaw came out. And I was like, what? We're here? We're here. It came and we didn't know it was coming. And it was just this guy who was like, I just wanted it to do something cool. So I just told it to do something cool while I was in the kitchen. And so that everyone's been copying him. OpenAI bought him. Anthropic got mad at him because he named himself OpenClaw. No, he called himself Claude Code. But like claw was like with a W, CLAWD, like a lobster claw. So they got mad at him. So everything they're releasing is a ripoff of this guy. So everyone's just ripping each other off right now. And so you don't know who's going to win. Anyways.